streaming live? Come on, come on, come on. Interesting. Right. Okay, we're on board. Mute that. Okay, peeps, welcome. It's Monday. Sun is shining. Let's get after it. So on the hot seat today, guys, we have got the man from up north. Where's he at? Hold on, change this lad over to gallery view. Paulie, how are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Rocking a pretty fancy hat here. You fucking mean business stepping onto this.
Yeah.
Good to you, man. So, Paul, before we dive in, mate, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Injury setback.
Okay.
Just currently looking into getting that sorted. I'm getting like a referral on Wednesday and stuff like that.
Okay.
Nip it in the bud before it becomes a massive issue.
Whereabouts the injury?
It's like a abdominal hernia.
Oh Jesus! Right. Okay.
I've had it before. I went for an emergency appointment yesterday, and I think the mesh has just slipped. So it might just be a little reparation, keyhole surgery.
Yeah. Here's
how. Sort it out.
Okay.
It could be worse. It could be twisted and knackered, but obviously, we're like, because I can push it back in. You know, I'm kind of all right.
Nah, be optimistic about that, man. All right.
Yeah.
So what we'll do here, Paul, is I want to break this down, and I'm going to go over to the iPad. Hold on.
All right.
So, first off, like, just tell me what current problems are you experiencing?
Probably. Obviously the physical side of it, like a hernia, but then there's also like the negatives that come with it. It's not just me negative. It's like the people around me and stuff like that.
Okay.
That seem to like encourage the negativity.
Okay. What specific people are we talking about here? Are we talking people in work? Are we talking family? Are we talking friends?
Work. It's predominantly work. Yeah.
Okay. And like what kind of stuff is being said? What kind of impact is that having on you? So first off, what's being said? Is this general talk about what you're doing or their general outlook?
I think it might be more their general outlook than exactly what I'm doing. There's a couple of lads like that see what I'm doing and actually want to kind of jump on board with it a bit and eat the same meals as me for staff lunch and stuff like that. And that's really positive, and the whole team kind of gets involved. It's good. But then you get things like, I've injured myself, the hernias come back through, and then it's all the negative, well, if you weren't exercising like this, if you weren't doing this, you'd be fine. Look at me, I don't have a hernia, and I, smoke 20 fags a day and drink a 2-litre bottle of Pepsi per hour type thing.
Right. Okay. So now we're getting to it. So
yeah.
These guys that you're working with, are you close friends with them? Do you get on?
We're all
generally just put up with it.
Yeah. We're all good buddies and stuff like that. I just think there's a point when you're working with 5-6 lads and you're getting it from just like 2 out of 6 of those lads. You kind of your mental state kind of goes from being very, very positive and fighting against it to for the cause, being part of the Sheffield tribe and all that. You kind of like, it starts creeping in the back of your head, well, oh, maybe they're right. Maybe I should just, chill out. Oh, I'll have a cigarette. Oh, I'll have a pack of crisps. So that kind of thing. Yeah. They kind of make it seem like it's the junk food and the lifestyle's just like normal,
Okay. Where, like, what have you found that is happening as a result of this then, Paul? Like, are you finding yourself slipping, like, that voice creeping in? Do you find yourself now the past week or two that some old habits are starting to creep back in?
And maybe Not majorly. I think, I think I'm drinking too much coffee. I'll have the odd cigarette maybe 2 times a week type thing, like 2 or 3 a week. I'm not majorly falling off the wagon. I just, like I said, I think the negativity prevents me from refining what I'm doing.
Massively. I'm going to explain this to you. So if we look at the situation we're in right now, as a result of what's being said on a daily basis, Paul, and a result of what you're seeing, obviously it's very difficult to get away from these things in our environment.
Yeah.
So if you imagine, just do now a circle here. Okay. So when you started out in Chef Fit, motivation was very, very high. We hit it straight out the gates. We lost 2 kilos the first week. And it's like everything was happening as a direct result of your actions, not happening to you in this way of like, fuck, they said this, therefore it's having an impact on me. You were leading the charge in every aspect of what you were doing. And therefore there's a huge amount of positive reinforcement that comes from that. I'm going to tell you for a fact that over here on the left side, it's like, it's very easy to get lost, and like all these little small things, like what I'm just marking here is like, these are just negative things that people could say that are gonna take us away from what actually needs to be done. So if you imagine, that's a set of eyes. It's like when you're around negativity, Paul, your attention gets pulled to these things.
Oh yeah.
As opposed to the thing that actually matters, which is you. So it's a very, very natural thing to happen. And the problem is right now, it's like you're being influenced by your environment. So we've got to ask ourselves the question. It's like, okay, right, what's causing that and how do we actually fix it? So as a result of this stuff happening, mate, think of it like this. So we've got negativity, and then the negativity is leading to bad actions. Now, they mightn't be massively bad right now, but again, it's only going to lead to one thing. So I've got to ask you this, Paul. Like, first off, what evidence do you have? What evidence do you have of the opposite being true? When you're hearing all of these negative things like, life's too fucking short, you may as well have a packet of crisps, or why wouldn't you be smoking? Sure, look at me, I'm 40 years old smoking fucking fags, and I'm in better nick than you because you've got a hernia. These things start to creep in, and it's natural for that to happen. What evidence do you have in the first 2 weeks of Chef Fit that the opposite is true? Like, what actually happened in the first week and a half of you being in Chef Fit?
Well, increased positivity, energy, just general all around happiness. I think you're striving towards a goal, and I think when you start to achieve the goal, like day on day, the daily work, I think it really helps for positive reinforcement.
Exactly. So this is what's happening now. This is what's happened. Now, understand that you have proven to yourself that it is possible to put yourself on a very, very positive path. The question is, Paul, what do you actually want? What do you want out of Chef Fit? What do you want in your life in the next 3 to 6 months?
Just to be a positive guy, I guess, just to have the energy and basically all things that I've achieved, that have been happening in the last 2 weeks. I want that to be like a permanent, I want that to be every day.
Okay. Okay. So what do you feel needs to be done in order to achieve that permanent positivity, health, and well-being?
Well, I guess I just need to kind of if the environment's quite negative, I mean, I have to find a way of tuning that out.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know how I would do that. Okay. Maybe just, well, I mean, if I just keep going over the facts in my head of what Chef Rick's bringing, I've got all the facts. I guess that's reinforcement, isn't it?
Big time, Paul. Big time. Let me ask you this. Let's get clear on a couple of facts here. So, first off, like, how many training sessions are we getting done a week?
The past week, I mean, in terms of workouts and lifting and the things on TrainRise, probably like six times last week. You know, I was really ramming it up.
In the gym, you're going into the gym 6 times a week, yeah?
6 times a week, yeah.
Okay.
That was last week, yeah.
Okay. Have we followed the nutrition plan to the letter the past week and a half?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So meals are on point.
Yeah.
Energy levels, like rest and recovery. How do you feel your energy levels are on a daily basis?
They're okay. I'm waking up feeling a bit tired after if I do like a late night. The other night I did a late night chest session. I woke up feeling a bit tight and tired, a bit worse for wear, and I probably only got like 5 hours sleep. So I was feeling a bit tired, but other than that, you know, quite a lot of energy.
Okay. So, has anything caused you from the negative environment you're in? Has anything there caused you to slip up?
No, not as of yet. I wouldn't say, not majorly. I've not like broken down into a, you know, tub of Hobnob biscuits or anything like that. Nothing stupid.
Yeah.
You know, I think, for instance, like last night we were going out for a meal. I think I chose like the vegan beetroot and coconut curry option.
Good man.
I didn't go for like a big Sunday roast. Yeah, I think I've been all right. I think the only slip ups would be possibly maybe picking at something like some roast meat that I'm carving yesterday.
Yeah.
That wasn't obviously in my meal plan.
Not the worst.
But it wasn't mental, you know. It's if I eat an apple or eat a little small slice of roast beef, I don't think you know, I'm not eating chocolate buttons.
Of course, mate. Of course. So, like, for me right now, Paul, I'm going to give you a bit of perspective here.
Aye.
You're on track.
Right.
You understand? You're on track. So this is purely psychological. Obviously, there's going to be a game plan at the end. What I'm going to do, if there's small things that are at you, like, you know, I feel I'm drinking too much coffee and my energy isn't where it should be. Cool. Very simple fix. The big thing here, mate, is psychological. So really, like, we're on point when it comes to training. We're on point when it comes to nutrition. I don't think picking at a tiny bit of roast beef is going to fucking make any kind of difference. Like, I'd rather you do that than picking at a packet of crisps or chocolate bars on a regular basis. Do you understand? So here's what's happening to you. Basically, how we've got to the whole idea behind designing the system and the things that we do on a daily basis. I'll give you myself for an example. Okay. Every day that I wake up, I have a choice on whether I can create a frame around myself or not. Because I know in my life, like, I can click onto one of my Facebook ads, right? And it's like massive amount of like negative comments, cunts fucking saying this, saying that. I can look at one of the chef groups that I post videos in. I can look at the negative comments on that. Do you know what I mean? I can look at the one or two guys who've left Chef Fit, and I can let that negativity affect me. I can take the fact that, you know, my family don't understand the job that I'm doing, and they say I should rather be, you know, why aren't you fucking back personal training? I could take that negativity on board. I could take all this bullshit and I could let it destroy me. Now, what happens if I don't have anything to protect me, that should be red. If I don't have anything to protect me, these things have a massive, massive, massive impact on me psychologically. And if that has a massive impact on me psychologically, on the surface, I might be doing the work. On the surface, it might seem fine. But the reality is, I know in my heart of hearts that I'm not fucking operating the way I need to be operating. So what do we do daily? the idea behind our routine, Paul, is that we have something that, like, let's say waking up in the morning. Like me waking up in the morning, this morning I could have done two things, right? I knew I had to get to where I'm working today early enough and get fucking started and get on this call with you. Now I could have said, nah, fuck it, I'll train in the evening, but I didn't. I went to bed early, I woke up early, I went to the gym, and I completely changed my perspective. So now at 8:30 in the morning, I'm walking out of the gym feeling 100%. Okay. What I've done there after I did that is I went home, I meditated, and I ate my food and took my food photos. I haven't checked Facebook. I haven't like listened to what someone else is saying to me. I put myself in the correct headspace. What that does is something very important, and it's called creating the frame around you. Because now all of a sudden, through me getting my training done, through me doing the daily work that I'm supposed to be doing, through me doing my bit of meditation, through me going home at night and actually checking off. Now, I don't know, are you using the daily worksheet from the start? But if you're not, I'd suggest doing it. I have a check sheet or a checklist that I tick off every single night to go, did you do the things you were supposed to do? Did you do the things you said you would? And when I tick that off and I take it off the list and I go, yeah, I did. It's like instantly I gain satisfaction, and instantly it gives me the perspective of knowing that other people's opinions don't fucking matter. And it's only my work that's really going to make an impact on myself. You know, if I don't do the work, I'm going to be up shit creek. And I understand that, but I'm not going to let someone else's shit impact me. So now all of a sudden, all of these things are hitting your barrier and they're bouncing off as opposed to affecting you psychologically. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So, man, the only thing that is going to get you out of this, we need to come up with a game plan to actually achieve this frame around you. So that's the ideal situation, not being affected by the things around you. How do we actually do that? What's the game plan? So first off, before we even do, what effect do you think drinking too much coffee is having on you?
It's probably leaving me too tired at the end of the day because I'm drinking too much through the day.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, of course.
I did cut it down quite a lot initially. If I was having it, I was just having like black coffees, and I'd just have like 2 or 3 a day. Yeah. But it's like slowly creeping back into like towards your 6s and 7s a day, if I'm being completely honest. Yeah. And sometimes, there won't just be like black coffees or just one with a splash of milk. It'll be like a like a latte.
Or a flat white, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're creeping around 5 to 7 right now, and that's having. If we look at the result of that, then it's like inconsistent energy-wise, and especially in the evenings, which is going to have. I'm going to tell you one thing. Here's a phrase for you: fatigue makes cowards of us all. Fatigue makes cowards of us all. It's such a fucking true statement. If I don't have the energy for something, nothing works well. Do you understand? Your headspace completely changes. Motivation out the fucking window. Desire to push yourself out the fucking window. So I think we've got to double down and understand that doing the work is going to get you out of this situation. But I think what we need to do here is make a habit, understand this, that energy is a habit, Paul, okay?
Yeah.
Energy is a habit. As in, are you in the habit every single day of taking actions that generate energy? Okay? For me, I was going full blown. Coffee was ridiculous. I was drinking, as I was saying, like as you're just saying to me there, I was in the same position a couple of weeks ago, and it's been a long time since I've kind of taken a break from coffee. So I was easily drinking 6 full cups of coffee a day. And then obviously, I'm up and down like a fucking yo-yo. I need the coffee to get myself to a certain level of energy or productivity. And it's not a good way to go about things. So that's the first thing. Yeah. Also understand that daily, no matter what, the program will have you move every single day in order to generate that energy. Do you know what I mean? Even if you're going to the gym and the session is shit, even if you're just getting a sweat on, walking or going for a jog or getting a small bit of cardio done, the premise remains the same. You're changing your physiology, therefore you're changing your body's ability to energize itself. You understand? So basically, man, in terms of the game plan and things that we need to do, okay, let's fix this problem first. what you're going to do coffee wise for 1 week, you're going to drink tea.
I can drink tea. What kind of tea? Like Yorkshire tea?
Just regular
tea.
Yeah, regular tea. If you want to fancy it up, go for it. Yeah. Cup of tea with a drop of milk, you know. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, but your absolute maximum is 3 to 4 a day, if not 1 to 2. Okay. Now the caffeine content of tea is about half of what you get out of a coffee. Okay, and also it's a different kind of stimulus, because coffee causes something called diuresis, where it actually dehydrates you the more you drink it. Kind of affects the salts in your body and stuff like that. So tea actually hydrates you. Okay. So this is the fix for coffee. Okay, then we need to look at sleep cycle. How is your sleep once you actually do get into bed? Between going to bed and waking up, are you sleeping restfully? Are you waking up in the night? What's the story?
Yeah, waking up in the night.
Right.
Waking up in the night. I mean, obviously, because of the water intake and things, I do find, and plus coffee being a diuretic and forcing the water out of you that you are drinking. I think, probably run off to the toilet twice a night at least.
Okay.
So that wakes me up.
Okay.
Sleep I could probably do with cutting down on the old Netflix and all that kind of stuff before bed.
Yeah. No, spot on, buddy. Spot on, absolutely. So let's actually look at what we're going to do sleep wise now. Last question on coffee. What was the latest time? When were you having your last coffee?
Well, like say for instance, last night obviously I went out for a meal, and instead of having dessert, everyone else had dessert, and I was like, well, I'll have a latte. But that was probably 8 o'clock last night. At work for me, if I'm going to the gym after work and I need a quick energy fix after a busy shift, I'll have a double espresso or something like that probably about 9:30 during the clean down.
Okay.
Which is obviously quite late for coffee.
Yeah, and what time are you getting home at and sleeping?
Ooh, after the gym, probably about 11:30, midnight.
Okay, what time are you getting to bed? 1:30, 2?
No, about midnight. About midnight, midnight. I can be in bed. Yeah.
Okay, and what time are we waking up?
Anywhere from 7 to 8 o'clock.
Right. So here's what's going to impact sleep. No caffeine from tea or coffee after 7 as a rule. Okay. It needs to be 5 to 6 hours away from the time that you're falling asleep. So 7 p.m. absolute latest. I don't care if you're fucking tired, massively tired. If we get the energy level, we need to get the root cause of the problem sorted here. The root cause of the problem is your energy is being massively affected by the fact that you're dependent on coffee for that energy throughout the day. And then our sleep cycle is thrown off as a result. Okay, so it's a bit of a vicious cycle that we're caught in right now. If we can address the sleep and then remove the dependent or resensitize you to caffeine, all of a sudden you don't need that coffee later on in the service, No caffeine after 7 p.m. Water intake during the day. So for example, obviously drink your water in the gym, just don't be a bollocks when you go home. Do you know what I mean? 80 to 90% of your water for the day should have been consumed by the time you're getting in for that night session. Yeah. All right. And then after you get home, it's you're sipping on stuff. But I'm not fucking down in this thing the 10 minutes I'm home before I go to bed. Oh, yeah. Or else you're guaranteeing yourself to piss several times. So again, water intake down before bed. If I can fit that in. And then, man, all this then is going to come down to, in terms of sleep and getting your energy back, is bed routine. So what's the bed routine?
Basically, Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, go for it there. Explain to me what's currently.
I definitely get into bed, and I've just got a new flat screen TV in the bedroom, so I just turn that on and crack a bit of, you know, Brooklyn Nine-Nine on Netflix or something, and just have that in the background while I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, okay.
As opposed to just closing my eyes and going to sleep, I guess.
Okay, I get you. Good honesty. So, I want you to look at this word: intentional. Intentional. This is probably the most important thing that we can be here. Is we need to be going home at night with a clear, like, this is the result I want. I think further forward, man. I want you to actually think about when you get home at night. Think about how you want tomorrow to go. Think about, how do I actually want to feel waking up tomorrow morning? Do I want to feel energized, or do I want to feel fucking lethargic and shit? Because in my own mind, like, I have two choices. I could go home and I could roll myself a joint and stay up till 12 o'clock listening to fucking Joe Rogan podcast, or I could get a book out and fucking, you know, have a chamomile tea, get into bed at 9:30, read for half an hour, and then wake up the next morning ready to fucking rock. There's two different worlds there. Do you know what I mean? But it comes down to the fact that, what do I actually want? Because if I think about what I want, then understanding my actions are easy after that. If I just don't even think about what's down the road, then it doesn't matter what the fuck I'm doing right now. So right now, man, we need to be intentional when we're going to bed. So what's the intention? Fucking energized, happy, not groggy. Do you know what I mean? This is what you want out of your sleep cycle. This is what we want to happen every single day that we're waking up. How do we achieve that? As I was saying to you before, no caffeine after 7. All right. Your water intake, 80 to 90% of the water you're drinking on a daily basis, you should have had it by the time you're walking into the gym for your night session. Okay. Right. Other parts of the bedtime routine. Phone use. So, needs to be gone. Needs to be gone by 11 p.m. Okay? Needs to be gone by 11 p.m. Set your alarm when you're coming back from the gym, and fucking good luck to it. Yeah. What I do every single night is I always have the blue light filter switched on my phone. Okay? Blue light filter stops blue light, that frequency getting into your brain. So what's happening here, Paul, right, is through you going home late at night, obviously you're getting your gym session done. I need you to get your gym session done. That's fine. But that's going to put you in a bit of a fight or flight response. That's fine. Okay. You're going to be a bit more energized. Then you add to that the fact that you're going home and then you're either looking at your phone. All right. You've had that coffee in your system late at night, and then you've got Netflix up. What's happening there is your body is now stimulated into thinking that the sun is still out. The sun isn't out. The sun is down. That it's fucking nighttime. We should be winding down. But the reality is, because we've put our body in this state and we have these electronics that are stimulating us artificially, all of a sudden now my brain does not release melatonin, which makes me sleepy. That's what's not happening to you, man. And that's why you're going to sleep, and that's why you're waking up twice in the middle of the night to take a piss, because you're not winding down the way we need you to wind down. So the first step to achieving that is phones need to be gone by 11 p.m. Okay, set your alarm, get fucking rid of it. Consistent bedtime. That's not even a word. Hold on. Consistent bedtime. So what are we talking about here? Man, every night, I don't care what, if you finish servicing around the same time, you get your gym work done in around the same time, it doesn't matter if it's a bit later. It needs to be consistent. And the same thing with your wake up. So we're trying to engineer bedtime and wake up equals 8 hours.
Right.
Okay. So whatever time you go to bed, fast forward 8 hours. What time is that? That's the time you wake up. Okay. We need to engineer that. So we're in bed every single time. This is my routine. I get into bed at this time. Like for me, it's I know if I'm in bed by 9:45 and I'm reading a book, boom, I'm all right. Like that's me done. I've followed the routine. That's all I need to do. If I don't have a clear thing in mind for the time I want to get to sleep, I'm going to my brain will find some way out of doing what it's supposed to be doing. So again, finding that consistent bedtime. And then the last things about that. Read in bed. 10 minutes. Okay, I don't mind you watching TV for a bit, but I want you to understand that the 10 minutes before you go to bed, you need to be reading for 10 minutes, okay? With a dimmed light on, not the full lights on overhead. And what that's going to do is it's going to help your brain just get into that wind down mode of realizing that it's time to go to sleep. And then the last couple of things. Food. Shouldn't be eating a heavy meal when you get home at night, man. That's going to be another thing that's going to keep you awake. Are you eating a full meal late at night?
No, I tend to have my my last meal in service about 6:30, 7 o'clock. Okay. I just take 5 minutes out back and just scoff it down and get back in there.
Yeah. Okay. Good man. That's totally solid. Yeah. So let's kind of recap what we're talking about here, man. Okay. First thing is going to be coffee intake. So we need to spend a week drinking tea. Okay. 3 to 4 maximum a day, ideally 1 to 2. Then we need to look at the sleep cycle. No caffeine after 7 p.m. Your water intake needs to be nailed down to the point where you're having the good majority of it before 9 or 10. And then after that, it's just sipping on it. Obviously, in your gym sessions, you rehydrate yourself, but you're not fucking downing a pint of it before you go to sleep. Yep. Then you have your bedtime routine. Phone use. You need to be not using it by 11 p.m. latest. Consistent bedtime and wake up, so we ensure we're getting 8 hours, and then we read in bed for 10 minutes before we fall asleep. The idea here is that we're being intentional. What does intentional mean? It means you have a desired result. You want something in your life. Therefore, with that result in mind, this is the actions that we need to take. You understand? So then what is the result? You want to feel energized, you want to feel happy, and you don't want to feel groggy. Now, what's the knock-on effect to the stuff you were saying before? Let's say all of a sudden, now that we started A and we creep forward, boom, we've gotten to this point, and this is an obstacle. Right now, the obstacle is energy, and then the energy is leading to negativity.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you could get this sorted here, Paul, all of a sudden that becomes less of a factor. And then we're moving forward again and we hit results. So let's recap. What's the tasks? T. Bedtime routine. Build a frame by work. Daily work. And if you haven't, I'd suggest getting the daily worksheet and actually printing it out, man, and doing it every night. It saves my life.
Yeah, I do on most nights. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you can commit to doing that every night, all of a sudden now you've got clarity on what you're doing every single day. Yeah. The last thing. So, Chief, for the next 2 weeks, the spotlight is on you, Paul. What does that mean? Every night in the group, your food photos are going to be up. When your food photos go up, we want everybody who's watching this right now in the group, everyone that's watching this right now in the group and watching the replay or watching this live, there's about 4 or 5 of you, okay? The idea is that Paul is going to keep himself accountable to fixing his energy levels and putting himself in a better headspace. Okay. He's going to do that by getting the things done up above that we've just talked about. Every night, Paul, you're going to do a post. I don't care if it's a video. I don't care if it's just your food photos. I don't care if it's a fucking photo or your gym session. I don't care what it is. Every single night, you're going to do an accountability post for the next 2 weeks. What you're going to say to us, we want a update every single night on how you're getting on with these tasks here. Are you drinking coffee within the next 2 weeks? Are you following your bedtime routine? Are you building a frame by doing the daily work? Yes or no? That's the thing. Yes or no? And we're going to know this by the accountability posts. So, bro, That's the game plan going forward. My question to you is there anything that we have not covered that you're unsure of that we need to go through?
No, that's pretty much covered.
Okay.
Covered all the bases. Yeah.
Okay. Are you clear?
Yeah.
Sure?
Yeah, I'm clear on that, yeah. I think fixing the energy and the less coffees, I think will definitely help with all that negative bullshit that goes on around me as well. I think that's it'll get me in the right frame of mind. So yeah, I'd say so.
Paul, you're doing absolutely everything that you need to do. You understand? Like, you've taken action, you've shown up here to fucking get in a call with me. That's a massive step. The past couple of weeks, you smashed it out. You know, how much weight have we lost since you started?
It's somewhere in and around like 3.4 to 4 kilos, I think.
Exactly.
And I'm doing a weigh at my weigh-ins tonight after a gym session tonight, and I'll do my weigh-in, and hopefully, you know, I don't expect it to have, you know, be another massive chunk again. I think it's going to slow right down. I don't think I have like a lot of weight to lose.
No, but that's the whole point, man. You have cleaned up in a lot of areas. Like, you've really made a push this past while, and you've really done the things you're supposed to be doing. You're doing everything that you need to do to become the person that you need to become. You understand? And the key thing here in the environment that you're in is understanding that you are true to yourself, and nobody is going to get exactly what your reasons for doing things are. I'm in the same position as you, man. Yeah. So many people, like, people don't know. If people ask me what I do, like, what the fuck, you know? Yeah, but I coach chefs online. Like, they'll never understand. And I can remember like having family and friends saying to me, like, "What are you doing? You're doing what? That doesn't make sense."
Yeah, they'll think it's weird, won't they? They'll be like, "What are you talking about?" Yeah.
Yeah, of course, it doesn't fucking make sense to them. Whereas I know in my heart of hearts where I'm going with the fucking whole thing. So all I need to do on a daily basis is keep doing the work that will get me towards my goal, my dream. And when I do that every single day, it stops me getting trapped in the negativity. You understand? And for you right now, mate, put it in perspective. You've pushed and you've made the change. What change have those lads made?
Yeah, no.
Zero. Fucking zero, man. Absolutely zero. So with that in mind, do their opinions warrant listening to? Not in like a dickhead way, but just in a actually taking it to heart, as in, fuck, they must be.
No, they've got no like kind of evidence to support what they're doing is better than what I'm doing, whereas I have evidence. It's just a matter of opinion, isn't it?
It is.
Like I said, they're not doing it. I don't think they're mean to be doing it like in such a, you know, in such a fashion. I think it's just their mindset's just different, and they don't realize what they're doing is projecting negativity on other people without even realizing, because for them it's normal. You know, it's the norm.
This is the old school chefs, man. It can be a bit of a fucking issue. I know my brother was the same thing. You know, my brother used to work with a guy. They came up together, but like he was a couple of years older, and my brother was getting piano lessons when he was like 28, let's say. And your man's like, "You're a bit fucking old for that." I was like, "What? I'm a bit old for it. I'm a bit old to get piano lessons." Do you know what I mean? And it's like, that's the mentality. That it's like, nah, you're a fucking chef. You're supposed to be doing these awful hours. You're supposed to be doing fuck all with your life, you know? And it's like, that's bullshit. It's such bollocks.
Yeah.
It is bollocks. So don't take it to heart, man. You start executing what you need to execute going forward. And I'm telling you, a couple of weeks from now, we'll have a very, very different conversation. So, brother, are you clear on everything that we need to be doing? Yeah?
Yeah, I'm clear. Yeah.
Okay, Chief. With that in mind, dude, let's get after it, yeah?
Cool.
All right, brother. Nice. Lads, everyone else, challenge this week. Let's get down to fucking business. Map out your standards. Everyone starts at level 0 from now. Okay. By the end of the week, I want to see a picture of the weights that you specifically need to hit in order to level up within those standards. Everyone needs to be clear on that. I will be putting up a coaching post reminder later on today. With that in mind, lads, happy Monday, and I will catch you all later. Paul, peace. Nice one, brother.
Peace.